Do this again, okay. Okay, well, I'm not sure if this doesn't look like it's podcasting to YouTube for some reason. I apologize. I might have to upload this after the fact. Okay, my friends and gems, well, let's go ahead and get started. Jane, thank you for joining here today. I want to start off with answering any questions that you might have about the stem cell activation patches.
I think we're doing okay. Yeah, I think we're doing okay. And I just was reading that thing on the placements, that brochure that someone posted on the Telegram. That was very interesting. And yep, and I'm just still going over a lot of info and stuff, but we're patching.
All righty. Well, let's go ahead and get started. And we're going to be focusing on X39 right now, and we'll answer any questions, maybe create questions just as you hear this information. But I want to share here a little bit about this incredible life-saving technology that will help you look vibrant, feel great, enjoy life as you continue to get older each day, because even a baby gets older day by day. As you're all aware, we all age with every day that goes on, right? But we don't have to decay as we age. And what if you could change the trajectory of your aging? And what if you could be a younger, more youthful you, even though you're spending more time moving forward? It is possible. In fact, we are now in the day and age where that is absolutely positively possible. For example, Allie here, she's in her early 30s. She lives a healthy lifestyle. She's a yoga and travel aficionada. She's a fan of yoga and traveling, as am I. And she started noticing changes in her early 30s that she couldn't party all night. She was concerned about, staying youthful, having a lot more job pressure, of course. And some days she felt very anxious, but she doesn't use any drugs. She lives a very clean, healthy, holistic lifestyle. And now we have, this is my business partner, Dr. Stacy, in her late 40s, lives a healthy lifestyle. She has a beautiful family. She loves to teach. Travel are her loves. She feels amazing. She's been into holistic health and well-being since she was 17, 18 years old, when she was already doing detoxes and, parasite cleanses and so forth. And she's focused on prevention, and longevity is a big priority for her. She's always learning new ways to stay healthy. And, she's very focused on vitality and overall wellness, in life. And then we have this lady named Carla, who's in her mid-50s. She too also loves being active, loves her granddaughter. She's noticing changes, more aches and pains and more fatigue, a little bit of weight gain, and not sleeping as well, having some lower back pain, and looking and feeling older. And her doctor has very few answers for her. They just keep telling her, you're getting older. We can run tests, offer prescription drugs to mask those symptoms. And she's wondering, can I ever look and feel young again? And then we have Ben, who's in his mid-60s, and he loves being active. He loves running and hiking and jogging, and he's looking forward to retirement and traveling. But he's noticing changes. He's noticing that he's having more aches and pain, decreased libido, not sleeping as well as he used to, some knee pain, stamina is starting to ebb, and it takes him longer to recover. And he's concerned with heart disease, any prescription meds, and possible knee replacement. And he's wondering if by the time he retires, if he's even going to be mobile and well enough to travel. Because right now he's still pretty active, but he does have starting to feel, the decline of certain aspects of his body as he's aging. And so a friend just recently asked, have you heard about this patch? And what do you know about stem cells? Has anyone told you about the LifeWave stem cell activation patches? And as you may or may not know, notice that stem cells do decline as we age. And these are the master smart cells that are there at conception, all 100% of them. There's 23,688 at conception that are there with your DNA, that are there to repair and rejuvenate the entire body, top to front, right to left, front to back, top to bottom. And by the time you're 60, only a small percentage are still active. When you're 30, 50% of them turn off. And by the time you reach 60, 90% turn off. And so we have the more we continue to age for each decade of life, the faster we're aging because we simply have less stem cells that are there to take us to the finish line until we take our last breath. Great to see you, Carol, joining us here. And so it's good to note, here we have the graph is actually showing from the time of conception, a newborn, 30 years of age. Again, like I said, 50% of them turn off. And here, by the time you're 60, 90% of them turn off. So you only have 10% left that's shouldering the job that used to be that of 100% of your stem cells. And so oftentimes people think, well, what about stem cell injections? What about stem cell IVs? It's actually the most popular is stem cell injections and IV. And, well, what about them? Well, first of all, they're very expensive, very, very expensive. And in the United States, you can't get stem cell injections from donor stem cells. They can only take your own stem cells and re-inject them into your body. To receive donor stem cells, you'd have to leave the country because that's illegal here in the States. It's painful, both injections and IV. They're not always effective. It's very invasive. You have to be there in the clinic, with the doctor who is actually administering the IV or administering the shots. There are possible side effects, and there's no guaranteed results. In fact, with stem cell injections and IV where you have a donor, there's a 50% acceptance rate and a 50% rejection rate. So it's really a 50-50 if you're going to have any effects. And the whole problem with the donor, we're not going to get into the moral, political, about the source of where those stem cells are coming that are not yours, but you're also taking programming that wasn't part of your original programming. So you're taking a gamble that along with the good, you're also introducing a lot of unknowns, and no one can really unveil and let you know what those potential risks might be. That might be little like grenades that are waiting to go off when they go into your body. And so there is some risks that are associated with that. But what if there was an affordable alternative? Would you be interested? Of course, I think all of us would be interested at the very least. I wouldn't tell you to get started today or to absolutely positively do this now, but education and knowledge is power, and the application of education and knowledge makes you powerful because now you have informed consent. Now you can make a good choice and a good decision because now you know what the facts are, right? And then you can make better choices so that you can step forward in the direction of making your dreams and your goals come true for your health and your well-being. So LifeWave, this is David Schmidt here. He's a visionary scientist, inventor. He was originally put under contract by the Department of Defense about 24 plus years ago. And 24 years ago, what happened was that he had invented all sorts of things for the Department of Defense. And then they approached him and said, David, listen, would you please invent something? Is it possible for you to invent something that will enhance the energy of the Navy SEALs? Right now, we give them amphetamines, uppers, energy drinks. Those work fine. However, when the effects wear off, their bodies crash, and it's very hard on their bodies. And we need something that's more organic and holistic. So David Schmidt, being a man of prayer and of meditation, he went into his meditative state, asked that effective question, and he, in meditation, received a divine download, as he usually does. That's how he's invented. He has over 150 filed patents. Incredible. First patent took him 11 years. The last patent that he got at the end of 2023, it took him less than 2 months to get, just to kind of give you an idea of how exquisite his talent and his genius and he's really divinely tuned in, tapped in, turned on. And so 23 years ago, this patch, the energy enhancer patch, was born to enhance energy, to regulate your heart rate variability, and also to improve your lymphatic system. And then 20 years ago, this became available to the public because initially this was just for the Black Ops Navy SEALs, not even for all the military. Because I had friends who were in the military at that time. And they're like, yeah, we were aware of those patches. Everybody wanted to get their hands on it, but it was only the Navy SEALs who had access to these patches. the Black Ops Navy SEALs in particular. So that's called energy enhancer. You will see it's a 2-patch system. I have a tan patch on left and a white patch on right. It's a negative pull and a positive push. It's moving energy through your body to enhance your energy, increase your heart rate variability, and to regulate your lymphatic system. And so David Schmidt, who is truly a modern day, it's like a weaving of a Nikola Tesla and Albert Einstein and Steve Jobs all into one. He developed these phototherapy energy technology for the SEALs, like I said. This company was founded in 2004, and he developed a whole suite. There's 11 stem cell activation patches. We also have an olfacto technology, which doesn't exist in the marketplace. And so it's the first of its kind. They have its own little category, you know, and as far as the patent is concerned. And we have laboratories that are manufacturing in California and Ireland. We have 12 distribution centers. It's expanded to 82 countries as of a couple of weeks ago. We just launched in South Korea. And we're up to 15 global distribution centers. Excuse me, I forgot to include South Korea and the last couple of countries we were in. And we have 8 global offices. So I want you to think for a second here, because this is a 20-year-old company. It's only been 4 years that the mother stem cell activation patch existed or came to market. There were 39 iterations before it was ready to be made available to people like you with families like ours. So let's continue on here. And the thing to note about this is that it's a patented phototherapy. We currently have 120 global patents. So it's not just 120 patents for the US. It's 120 global patents. It had to pass the scrutiny and all the red tape of 82 countries. Not a small feat. In contrast, I want you to think about this. The majority of all supplement companies, those are companies that make supplements, that make vitamins that have been around anywhere from 50 to 100 years. They don't have patents. And they don't have research. I only know of one supplement company that has research. They have scientific studies that are actually filed that you can read on. So that's like 99.9% of supplement vitamin companies don't have research papers and don't have any patents. Yet we do. So we have the science to back that. Scientific studies that were done, 90 of them in the United States, Europe, as well as Asia. It's a wearable patch technology. You see here, I'm wearing it right here on my wrist. You see another one here on my chest. This uses specific infrared wavelengths of light to activate stem cells without injection. It's non-invasive, non-transdermal. It's safe. There's no drugs. Like I mentioned, there's over 90 clinical studies. It reduces pain and inflammation. It does a rapid regeneration and reparation of the body at a cellular level using your original master playbook from those master stem cells. They're smart master stem cells, and it resets. If you have scars, it's going to replace that tissue with the original tissue, so the scar starts to disappear, as in my case. Laceration, ankle to knee, right on that shin bone, was elevated, and my bone was kind of wiggly and wavy from that accident because the laceration was right across the bone. 5 years. And then when I got started a year and a half ago, immediately that scar went flat. It lightened in color. It shrank. The bone filled in within 4 months. It was really quite spectacular. It speeds wound healing and tissue repair, as you can see here. And we've got a few people here. I'm going to share some testimonials. You can see pretty clearly the before and after. This person over here had a rib fracture from an accident on June 17th. Incidentally, that was the day of my accident, June 17th, 2017. We'll talk about my situation on another broadcast. June 17th, he had multiple broken ribs. You see that he was working on rafters and he fell through the ceiling. This is something that happens all too often to firemen. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. I have friends that are firemen, but it happens and it's really a miserable thing. He broke 6 ribs, punctured his lung. Surprise, you could die from that. Was in extreme pain. His expected recovery time was 6 to 8 weeks. He was back to work in 3 weeks. And you could see, look, not even 2 weeks. This is a week later. Look at how much less bruising he had. On the 30th, 2 weeks later, holy smokes, that's 13 days later. Look at how much more recovered he was. Really spectacular. This is a 6-year-old. We actually have a 4-year-old who had also lost his fingertip, like right above that joint, because his brother closed the door on him. He was in Canada. This 6-year-old, I don't know exactly where they were, but his fingertip was reattached. You can see how after the injury, it was sewn back on, and you could see how the finger regrew. For Damaris' son, who is in Canada, same thing. They attached the finger and it grew back with a nail and everything in record time. The doctor had told her that, they couldn't attach the fingertip because it would go black and it would just die. It's dead tissue. And she said, just attach it. I have stem cell activation patches. We'll take care of the rest later. And the rest is history. I have a video on my Facebook about that back about a year and a half, because that was shortly after I started using it with my patients. So here we have someone who is recovering from radiation treatments for her condition. And you could see she was in pretty grim shape when she started. And this is June 6th of 2021. And here you have, look, June 23rd. Look at the difference. And June 30th. So basically 24 days later, look at the difference from wearing the X39. Pretty impressive results. So this is a brain scan that was done on someone with thermography, and you can actually see she had a lot of inflammation throughout the periphery of her brain. She only had 2 cool spots. This is a 77-year-old woman. This is showing how she has a decrease in brain inflammation, improved memory, focus, and cognitive brain function, and an increase in her GHK2 copper peptide, which supports the cell and nerve regeneration in the body. So this is the first time they scanned her. Session 2, they scanned her, the inflammation's gone already. Session 3, inflammation gone, and you just see more marked improvement in the brain. So people like myself, so many of us are on the patches. It's like you sleep so deep, so soundly. You sleep like a baby. You're in that theta brainwave state. But we know from the brain scans that the brain goes into REM sleep on the patches, which is game changer, because that's also what's needed for you to regenerate and to activate the GHK2 copper peptide, which is the light switch that turns on a third of your previously dormant stem cells. So of course, this is going to give you an increase in energy. And here we have someone who went to Huron Peak, 14,003 feet of elevation. He has faster recovery. Thanks to LifeWave patches, was able to climb another 14,000-foot peak. It's been 4 years since he climbed because of his knee. And thanks to the patches, he was able to go out and do what he loves, which is hiking with the love of his life. Isn't that awesome? So the word's gotten out. Yes, when Michael Phelps won his 7 gold medals, he was wearing our patches. We also have David Beckham, soccer player, using the patches. You can see he's wearing energy enhancer here. We also see Serena Williams. She's been wearing our patches for several years now too. We have the women's Stanford swim team that they started wearing the patches in 2014 before the mother cell activation patch. And there were 8 women in 2014 on the women's Stanford swim team. And of the 8 women, 6 out of the 8 broke their own personal records just 3 weeks after starting on the energy enhancer patches. And then they went on to compete in the Olympics. So we have professional athletes, Olympic athletes, collegiate athletes, peak performance athletes, and people who want just health and wellness and want to prevent, their body from decaying, but more optimally, they want to optimize their body so that they can feel as good as they possibly can. So what if you could be a younger, more youthful you? What would you do with that? I'll tell you what I did with that. As soon as I heard that, Dr. Nirmala is the one who told me about the stem cell activation patches. It's my writing partner. Her and I have been writing a book based on her medical thesis since August of 2021. And as soon as she mentioned to me about this team that was going to Belize, that they were doing studies on the stem cell activation patches, I'm like, yes, I want to be on that team. Yes, I'll go to Belize. And yes, I would also like to have access to them so I can put them on my patients. And of course, I would also want to use them as well. So this is activating. There's no stem cells in these patches. These are simply a mechanical device to turn on your stem cells using your own body's inner light, the infrared light spectrum. That's the type of light that you have inside your body. You're going to have greater energy, greater mental clarity, faster wound healing. You're going to be younger looking over time. You're going to have increased muscle mass and strength, increased bone density, increased tissue and nerve regeneration and repair, and much deeper sleep. Who wouldn't like that? I say, let's go back to that screen real. I would say yes, 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 heck yes, 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 and yes, yes, yes to all of those things. I want all of those, and I've been benefiting having all those things for the last year and a half. So if anything were possible, what is the one thing you would choose to experience differently with your health or in the health of someone that you love or care for? What difference would that make? I got to tell you, for a lot of people, it makes all the difference in the world, from being in a place where things were just getting infinitely worse to they were able to literally turn the other cheek, and now things are getting infinitely better. I would much rather have things going infinitely better than the alternative of things getting infinitely worse and eventually ending 6 feet under, which is where we're all going to eventually end up at. So I want to make sure I make time for questions. We have about 4 or 5 more minutes here before we're going to wrap up here. We have on the, if you want to get started today on a silver pack, first of all, we want to answer any questions that you might have. You can get started for as little as $2.99 a month. A 30-day supply is the cost of a cup of coffee a day, like a Starbucks cup of coffee a day. So $5 a day for 30 of these, because each one of these envelopes, this is called a sleeve, which is a special cardboard envelope to hold 30 patches. And a 1-month supply, $5 a day, is $149 per month. Now we can get you started with a Dr. Wholesale pack where you would get it for $2.99. You could get 3 of these, or we could customize this package and we could get you the 3. It would be X39, X49, and then one of the supportive patches, depending on what you got going on. I'm a big fan of the Fantastic 5 because it takes care of the primary systems of the body. So for $2.99, you would get 1 free sleeve. You pay for 3, get 1 free, $2.99, and then the next month it would be either $3.29 to get all 5, or you could just do $1.79 and get the mother and the daughter stem cell activation patch. You can start, stop, pause at any time. You can also buy it in bulk if you'd like. We can basically go over this with you individually, depending on what it is that you need. For those of you who, we recommend that you be on the patches for the next 12 months, because without being on the patches, the human body is on a 7-year schedule to replace and restore all 56 trillion cells in the body. Bones take about 2 years. Your stomach, you can regrow an entire new stomach within 6 months without being on the patches. Once you get on the patches, that's all expedited because you have 33% more light running through your body, 33% more stem cells that are available to you. So let's say if you're a 60-plus-year-old, you're going to have your existing 10% plus 33, 43% of your stem cells now. That's 4.3 times more stem cell activation, 430% if you want to be exact for my numbers people. But that's almost the amount of stem cells that you have when you're 30, 35 years old. So now the rapid repair, things that would take years and years and years, take months on the stem cell activation patches. I'm not saying that things happen lightning fast, but they do happen. And inside of 24 hours, a week, 30 days, 30, 60, 90 days, surely people do see improvements, and they're significant improvements. And it's not just that you feel it and you see things that are going on, but you also have evidence, whether you're wearing a pulsometer, you're taking your blood pressure, you have your Fitbit or your Apple Watch that's taking your, measurements of your different vitals and so forth, or your Android Health Fit, plus blood tests and so forth that your doctor can run with you. So it's very important that we answer all of your questions. We want to customize each packet for you, and very important for you to have the patch placement that's necessary for you to get you the best outcome as possible. Does that make sense? Okay. So I want to thank you for taking your time to watch this, get back to the person who referred you to this video. I want to open it up for questioning. Carol, Jane, do you have any questions that I might be able to answer? And I also want to have you invite your friends to learn about this life-saving technology, because you just don't know whose life it is that you might be saving. Yes, go ahead, Carol.
Did you get a hold of Annie Reeves?
Yeah, I spoke to her right after I spoke to you. Yes, I did.
All right.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, you're quite welcome. Okay, so I don't think we have any other questions. At 7 p.m. tonight, I will be back on again. And then just to let you know, and if you or someone you know is interested on getting on a phone call, I know Carol routinely has me jump on calls with her friends who are interested in learning, or she plugs them into these calls. I'm available for you guys. You can always go to damelillianwalker.com on your URL for your browser. That'll take you to my YouTube channel, and you can check out the most recently recorded video that's been posted, or this one's not live, but this one's being recorded. I don't think I'm going to post this one, but I do want to make sure that you guys have access to all that free information and support there. Lots of awesome testimonials. In the last couple of weeks, we've had some pretty amazing testimonials. So like the guy who had HIV since 1998, I just found out during that broadcast, like minutes before, that he had gone from, he'd basically gained 30 pounds, just like Carol had lost, gotten down to 82 pounds. I got down to like 92 pounds. We lost weight that we couldn't afford. We were already slender, right? So it's the same problem as someone who's trying to lose weight. It's something out of balance, but as soon as it gets into balance, you can recover that. And he had multiple organ failure. He had HIV positive status, wasn't eligible for a liver transfer because of his HIV status, lost 30 pounds. Well, guess what? He's gained the 30 pounds back. He's been HIV free for an entire year. It's been 13 months. He told me he would get me copies of the blood tests before. He started in June of 2022. And I told him, I just need the one in before June 2022, December of 2022, 6 months after he was on the patches, and then this last December, so it shows 12 months of him being HIV free. No more multiple organ failure, the toxoplasmosis and the different complications he had. All of that disappeared. All of it disappeared, so much so that after 6 months of being on the patches, he was able to go back to work in January of 2023. So it's been exactly a year. And he's gained back 30 pounds, and he just bought a house. So I know that was his big thing. He wanted to save up enough money to buy a house, and he's doing that. And he's traveling all over the country. And just as you see him, he was like so happy and bubbly every time I talk to him. He's got a 100% different life now, but he's had that burden since 1998, since he was in his 20s, and now he's in his 50s. And now those chains of pain, complication, anguish, all the complication, all that's gone. It's like, oh, so exciting too, every time I talk to him. So, okay, my beautiful friends and gems, I will let you go. Ciao for now.